for joining us for the Stitches and Sundries Flosstube again. We have lots of stuff going on, but we have managed to make some progress this week. I'm Lauren.
I'm Devyn.
And we are a cross-stitch and stitching and sewing focused podcast. And we have some finishes and some whips this week. We actually got some progress done on some stuff. So we're going to jump right into it because
Lauren's got something awesome to show you guys.
I got something awesome to show. So last week I talked about I had finished up for my good friend's wedding the Maitland portraits by Avocado Stitchery, and I had gotten them completely finished, but I was still on the hunt for a set of frames. I found a set, so I'm going to show you one here that we've gotten all framed up. So this awesome frame with a velvet hanger is a vintage frame from the 50s. It originally had these, I think these are made in Belgium. It had this
bubble. Bubble frame.
It's got a nice convex glass that is making
I'm trying to tilt it for the glare. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, sorry about that.
We've got new lighting, but
yes, we have new equipment.
Con is a glare.
Well, usually we don't have glass stuff, but this particular one.
Yeah.
It originally had this really pretty dried floral display in there, and the lady was like, I think you could get this out of there. Because I got these at a vintage store in Cumberland, Maryland. I believe it's called Cumberland Heritage or something like that. And
it's really cool.
They do very nice stuff. And she let me take the frame apart in the store to make sure I could actually get it apart and then it would work for what I wanted.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, you are trusting that I'm not going to break this. But then I laced it up on the back, which actually looks pretty cool. I was going to put like a piece of felt to hide it, but it actually looks really neat. It's, cat hair. I'll have to make sure that's neat. But these two identical frames. They both have these like velvet things to hang from.
They look awesome.
Yeah, they're going to be really great. So with this, along with a couple small gifts, are being shipped out Monday. So we made it. I made it.
You did.
I did. It is now done.
Careful packaging is going to keep this thing safe.
Careful packaging, and
it looks beautiful, Lauren.
Yeah, it turned out really
amazing.
Nice. So I hope they really like it. I hope it's super. I think it's super them, and I hope it's.
There we go. That shows it. Look at that, guys.
And the convex glass makes it like. I don't know. It highlights it in a way.
It fits this, and I like that because this pattern is originally done on white fabric with black portrait. Mm-hmm. I really like that you did the white portrait. It really pops. Like it turned out really. Yeah, I forget that it's actually supposed to be done. Yeah,
black and white.
It looks awesome in this frame. I mean, that is so cool.
Yeah, it turned out really great. I'm really
Vintage stores, awesome finds.
Awesome finds. I also bought. I'll have to run and get it because I completely forgot I bought it. I bought me a glasses case from the 50s. Their stuff is very 50s, 30s to 50s, and I bought a glasses case that I'm using as a notions case.
Oh, that's cute.
I can show it to you. So I found lots of stuff there. So this is done. I'm happy to have it off my plate, and I'm happy that it turned out so lovely for that. So that was my finish. Hang on, I gotta drag my chair side table closer so I don't have to reach so far. So that was a big deal to have that done.
Yeah, that was a lot of work too. Framing is hard. It took
probably, I don't know, maybe half an hour to take the frame apart, lace it up. What I did to get it to fit was the glass is actually the exact size of what you're going to be lacing around. So on the back of my project, I lined the glass up so I could make sure it was centered, and then put like a 2-inch border around the glass. And my sister serged the edges there, and then we cut with another probably half an inch of give so that. And then I laced behind the stitching. But if it frays, it'll only fray down to the stitching.
Right.
So that'll keep
That's going to hold.
That's going to hold. It's going to be, and it also will be, it's neat looking on the back. Because originally I was like, I can fold all these. Nope, I can't fold all these corners in. They are going to be a nightmare. So we trimmed it, and it looked really nice. So it probably took a half an hour to do all that. Yeah. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't. Once we had the frame, finding the freaking frames. Yeah. And I now have 3 frames that I bought that did not work.
Well, that's okay. You always need frames.
I always
now
need
you're
frames.
going to build a stash of frames.
I'm going to build a stash of frames for cool projects, so they will get used.
It's awesome that you were able to find matching ones. That's the big thing.
Yes, I was looking
and something with a flashy border too. Like I know you were originally looking for like something really ornate, but I like that gold. Yeah, the gold and the bubble glass, it adds that little bit extra that I was looking for. The when I was in the store, I looked around. I'm like, man, I'm just not. I found a couple that were like 5x7 little ones. I'm like, no, these really aren't gonna fit. Found one that was like $50, and I was like, for one, and I was like, oh, that's too much, and there's no match, so I don't know about this. And then I was just thinking, I was like, I'll ask if they have stuff that they haven't put out yet. You know, sometimes those kind of stores. Oh, and they always have stuff.
They always have stuff they haven't put out yet. And I was like, excuse me, I'm looking for an oval frame, hopefully a set of 2. And she's like, how big do you need? And I was like, 8x10, something like that, bigger than the picture frames that are hung up on the walls. And she's like, well, I have these. And she pushes aside a whole thing of clothes, and hanging on the wall behind the racks of clothes were these 2. Wow. And I'm like, why do you have secrets back here? Why are you hiding secrets? And then she let me take them apart, and I was like, you are so trusting. I need to go to this store. This sounds awesome. It's an awesome store. I love vintagey stores and junk stores. And they have, I don't struggle with junk stores because they are fantastic and wonderful. But like, you'll go into some stores and like, a good example is there's a bottle of vintage buttons from like, again, the 50s and 40s. And in a junk store, you might find that jar for $2. Yes. Because they just are like estate sales, and they put it all out and they put whatever they can get on it, right? Yeah. And the big thing about junk stores is they don't clean it up. No. What you're getting is found as is. As is, yeah. It is not cleaned. Yeah. You go to an antique store and they've done the work. They know that jar is worth probably $20. And they're like, especially if you get the blue glass mason jars, they're like $40. But they're like, okay, $20. This place is like $9. They're like more than a junk store because we've cleaned it up, we've selected, we're picky about what's in the store, but we're also not an antique store that you're gonna feel like you've really got to shell out. Right. Either. Like they've done the work to clean it up, but they haven't actually like refinished it or changed anything about it. Because there's an antique store in Oakland that they do all the refinishing. That's like Honeysuckle Cottage does all that refinishing. They do that beautiful work, yeah. And they're very like particular. This is like, we found neat objects that we know people are going to like and want in their home. And they're clean and they're nicely displayed and they're thoughtfully done. But we're not an antique store. So we're not charging antique store prices. So that's cool. Yeah, it's a very neat shop. It's a very neat shop. Well, I have something along those lines that my whip is in. Yes, show us. So first I'll talk about my whip, which is right here in my lap. You guys may have seen this before, but hey, guess what? There's progress. This is A Nightmare Before Christmas by Happy Little Mouse. And very pretty. I'm working on it, and doesn't look like I've got much done, but last time I just had a tiny bit of this yellow done, and now I just have like half the moon to do, and oh my god, it's taking forever to do this yellow. Forever. Yeah, one color stitching is hard. Yeah. Trust me, I just did a bunch. You just did a ton. Yeah. So, I am enjoying this. It is a struggle to get through the yellow. I'm really excited to get to the purpley parts because then it has fades and there's lots of this is what it's going to look like, by the way. Yeah, Lauren's gonna see the picture. And so you can see the Oogie Boogie outline has a lot more going on. Oogie Boogie, and it's got all the purples, and I'm really excited for that part. And I'm just like, I could just get right to it because it starts right here, but I'm pushing myself to finish the yellow. So that's where I'm at. But along this vintagey junk store line, this project is living, and all of my cross stitch actually right now is living. This thing is so cool. And this thing. So it's a old, and it looks really cool. Look at the lighting picking up that color. Yeah, those flowers are so pretty. So this thing is a wicker basket
And hang on, the hook got turned around. I have not cleaned this up myself either. I bought it at a junk store in Rollsburg, but I say it wrong.
I think it's Ralsburg.
Ralsburg. So anyway, it has this nice gold lining.
And little
it
pincushiony
top. And the lady said, so this is actually an old Penny's, JCPenney's sewing basket. I don't know like when it was made or anything. It just looks so cool. I was like, I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. And it's a little dirty and it has a little like rough around the edges, but I'm going to try to like do some work to clean this up.
Yeah.
There's like a little stain right here you can kind of see, but it is really cool, and all my cross stitch fits right in here because I don't have a ton of cross stitch, but I'm setting this by my bedside so now I can get to my cross stitch a little better.
Yeah. And it's nice that there's like, it's got that little keeper in the top that's like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to put in this because like she said you could put stuff in here, but I don't know what you put there, so I don't know. But I could put like pins in here if I wanted to. I'm probably not, just because I don't want to damage this too much. I'm gonna put like a little basket with all my stuff in it.
Yeah, very cute.
Anyway, it's gonna be
very
awesome.
cool find. Like when you find stuff like that, especially at junk stores.
Yes,
like
because
I can clean that up in 2 seconds, guys, and you're selling it for what? $8?
Maybe $5.
Maybe
$5. It was super cheap. And I talked to the lady. She actually does a lot of crochet and cross stitch herself. And there was a tree in this by an old school there that they had yarn bombed, and it looked really cool.
Oh, that's neat.
It was really cool.
That's
so anyway, she was a cool lady to talk to. I don't remember the name of her store. Oops.
If we find out, we'll put it here.
Yep.
The store name.
But it's a really cool store in a really beautiful town right now. It's very beautiful with the fall color and everything.
Yeah. That's pretty fun.
That's my whip. I don't have any other whips going on because I have been knitting like a fiend. So what cross stitch do you have going on?
Well, I have one update. I still have my same 3 going on, but I have a big update that I'll kind of share. This is Horrific Halloween by Stoney Creek, and here's what the section that I'm working on right now is going to look like. This is the Toad's Breath Beyond the Pale.
Ooh, I like the name of that.
So I got some progress done. Just a second. So here's what it looked like last time that you guys saw. It had just got a little starch. But so I now have a big chunk of the wording done.
That is gonna look awesome, Lauren.
So I thought I'd talk a little bit about I ran into some technique things that were interesting to me. I've done a little of it before, but not much. So one thing up here where the word breath is, I actually had to have almost 4 needles going.
What?
Because to the fade and the move across, to fade up and move across at the same time caused a bit of an issue because, so like let's say you start at the bottom and you're like, okay, I've got the very bottom of this B started. Well, you can't really get to the R. You can't, unless you're like very, very confident in your counting. Your R is like just far enough away that it's going to cause you a bit of a trouble.
Okay.
So I didn't want to cut my string, so I would like put my string way out of the way and start the next color, which would let me get to the R. So I get to the R, but I couldn't quite get to the E now with that other color. So I'd have to put it aside and get the next one started, and that could get me a little farther. And then you're like, okay, well, I'll pick up that first one again. And so by the time I did that twice, I was like, I'm just gonna put all these on needles, so all I have to do is pick up the needle I need instead of trying to like rethread 4 strings, because I would get like from B to R, okay, that's a little farther. Then I get from R to E, okay, I can't quite get to the A anymore. I gotta pick up my first one again, finish the B, go back to the R, the E, A, and work all the way through again. And then I couldn't quite get to the T, and like every single time I'd have to like pick up a new color.
So did you have like 4 progress keepers going?
No.
You just kept the needles hanging?
I just kept the needles hanging. Yeah, they just hung from the back. Because I was like working, I knew I could get this breath done in one sitting. It wasn't like super hard, but just to keep myself from losing the stitch and having to be like, oh crap, I gotta take all that out in 3 different colors.
So I think that might help me with the chicken thing, because I'm really struggling with the chicken.
We need to sit down and look at your chicken.
It's watercolor, and there's so many color changes.
There's so many color changes, yeah.
So
That was kind of what was
so it would be like this, because I'm like, I don't want to cut the thread yet, and I could carry, but it's too far away, and then my stitch count's been off twice now.
Yeah, that's my problem. If it's more than 5 stitches, honestly, in some parts, especially like this where it's lettering and you're gonna like, it's gonna look weird if one is too far spaced. I'm like 3 stitches. If it's farther than 3, I don't want to carry. What can I do to make it? And now, like, in some of this freaking the toads word has a little bit of that because you're fading up from the bottom and down from the top. I will do the middle and then take my thread that needed carried too far and carry it underneath other stitches. So that it's tucked in. It's not like a huge big thing, but I will carry it a little farther than they recommend because I can hide it. Who cares? I can hide it.
Well, and you're really good. It looks awesome.
It does look really nice. And then this, the pail, with all its drips and drabs, is DMC Coloris Canadian Night. So it's a very nicely variegated thread. It goes from gray to brown to purple and back. And anybody that's cross-stitched a little while kind of knows, but I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. When you are doing a variegated thread, normally what I do, and I pull off my ring, I pull one thread, fold it in half, and stitch with it. With variegated thread, you can't because then you're putting like a gray end with a brown end, and you're not getting that variegated.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, so you take 2 threads and match up like the brown ends so that it's variegated the same. But then you also really can't ladder your stitches. You can't do half all the way down and then come back up because then you're crossing gray with brown and purple with brown and gray with purple, and you're not getting the variegation. So you have to go stitch by stitch so that the variegation actually lays properly.
That is some technique I didn't know.
So there you go. Things you learn when you're doing, especially these that have like really straight rows that I normally would have just laddered all the way down and laddered all the way. In fact, I was like, oh crap, I have to actually
make your X's to the
make my X's and then like go all the way to the bottom for the P. You can see you have to go all the way down.
So does
and
it
then
tell
stop.
you that in the pattern, that technique? Oh, okay, you just have to figure that out. Okay.
Darn. Yeah. So, but that was super fun, and I there is a little, you can kind of see the gap in the drips. There's going to be a little fence that's like a little broken fence that the toad has around his pot. So
that is looking so awesome.
Yeah, it is looking really pretty, and I'm really pleased with it. I asked my sister, I was like getting a project out, and I said to her, I'll do this to her, and she hates it. I'll say A, B, or C, because I can't decide, and then she'll say a letter, and that'll decide for me. And she'll go, am I picking something? And I was like, yes, you're picking something. And she said, is it a cross stitch? And I said, yes. She said, well, I want you to work on the Halloween banner. You should work on that one. So whatever letter that is. And then I got to work on it. I was like, I love working on this project. It's so much fun. It's so colorful. It's so interesting. I've been doing a lot of black and white lately, and it was just like really fun to work on.
Are you burned out on black and white now?
I'm a little burned out on black and white, but this one is so colorful and fun, and it's such a cute topic. So
it is very cute. I like it.
So that's my only kind of whip update. I did a minuscule amount on another one, but I don't want to go over there and get it. So that's all my updates this time. We have a project coming up.
We have a together project, a group project.
We have a stitching group that we kind of try desperately to keep alive. It's a slow move.
It is a struggle because with COVID, it kind of shut it down.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to just limp it along through COVID, and then hopefully once we can meet in person again, things will pick up. Well, we're actually hoping to meet in person for this next meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. There's places that'll let you as long as you keep your group size small. Mm-hmm. And
we are small.
And we are the people that show up in person are very small.
Yeah.
So, but we decided that one of the things to kind of like give us all a shot in the arm to get back into the kind of crafty feeling is there is a charity around here that does what's called a Festival of Trees.
Yes, it raises money for the Garrett County Dove Center, which is a organization that helps victims of domestic violence. And it's an organization that I've done donations to the Festival of Trees in the past. I've done 2 years now. I've done a wreath, and what they do normally is they auction off the decorated wreath or Christmas tree, and actually they added a new thing, tabletop. You can do like a tabletop centerpiece, and they auction that off, and then the money from the auction goes to the organization, and then they double donate, because any trees that are, sometimes the clientele who purchase trees at the auction don't actually want the trees.
Right, they're just doing it for the
They're
donation.
just doing it for the donation. So then those trees have been purchased. They will then donate the finished tree to Hospice of Garrett County, which takes fully decorated Christmas trees and wreaths to families who are dealing with someone who is dying, and they are able to give them a fully decorated tree for Christmas, and then the family doesn't have to stress over Christmas, and it's very nice.
Yeah, it's a wonderful charity.
It's a very well organized event.
And in the same vein, there's also this mini level of competition among the people who are dressing the trees, because if your tree gets the highest bid on it, obviously you did the best tree. And so people are always like, well, we did a tree last year and we came in third, so we gotta try bigger and better. And so there's this level of like, you don't just, the trees that get donated are not just your average, like, oh, we decorated nice. These are like amazing.
They're
trees.
elaborate. They're very elaborate.
They're beautiful trees. But COVID this year put a kink in the plan. Because it's put a kink in everybody's plan for everything for their whole lives.
Yes. So everything's changed of how they're doing it, but the good thing is they're still trying to do it. So what they're doing is designers are still being asked to decorate a tree or a wreath. And then what is going to happen is the people who normally go to the auction are being asked to vote online. And you have to pay to vote. So they will vote, we will submit pictures, designers will submit pictures, and then the voters will pay per vote to vote for their favorites. And then that money will still go to the organization. The trees are not being donated anywhere this year, and I think that's just because there's so many hands on it. It's a little unsafe, especially to put into a home of someone who's already suffering from a terminal illness. So the trees are staying with us, or whoever else is designing.
But you get to take pictures, so in a way you have a little more control. And then to keep that same like spirit of you want to submit the best tree you possibly can, they're giving out small prizes to people that get the highest votes. It's a really great way to keep the spirit of the thing alive until they can get back to it next year.
Yeah.
And again, to raise money for a really, really great organization.
Right. So our group is going to get together. We're hoping to meet next Sunday, and we're going to get together and talk about our tree.
We are going to donate a tree. We're going to take pictures of a tree. It is going to be crafty themed, of course.
Right.
So we're thinking about ornaments and garlands and things. So we're getting together to plan all the pieces and bits that we can throw on this super fun project. So.
I have some ideas for a, and this is going to be a great place for cross stitch to do small ornaments. So I showed in our last episode that magazine, the Christmas themed magazine. Oh, is that it?
Yeah, we are totally going to be doing some small, that's one of the reasons I haven't started my house that I talked about last time, is that I'm going to be starting some ornaments to get some ornaments done on the tree. This will also help me learn how to finish ornaments.
I am a little nervous about that, but there is an adorable sheepy guy in here, which I don't know where he is, but he's on the cover, and there's a Santa, and
there's some very cute ones in there.
Yeah. We showed this magazine last time, so check out our last video to see the preview of that, but there are some adorable ornaments that we'll be doing for our tree, and hopefully we'll have little finishes to show in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, I really like that bell. I really want to do that bell. So there's gonna be some Christmas. The other thing I have, and I got this last year I go to yard sales, especially when they were happening way more frequently, and I found this book, and it is just a Better Homes and Gardens Cross Stitch of Christmas, and it was $1, I think, and it's very 70s. Let's be honest, we're not
the stockings. It
but
has some cute stuff.
It has some very cute stuff, and I'm trying to find. Oh my gosh, I didn't see this before, but this is important. Christmas cookie ornaments for Santa.
Those are adorable.
And I'm looking for the stockings because we had them.
I think they're in the front.
Are they in the front?
But yeah, there's a lot of really cool little ornaments in this book that we are planning on splitting up, sharing with our group so that everybody can kind of find whatever they want to work on. There will also be crochet and knit items on the tree, which we will be sharing in our other podcast. So you'll see that on our channel too. Yay!
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun project, and we're hoping to have pictures when it's all said and done. Oh, I think this is hilarious. Hang on, I gotta find the picture of it. Done. So you can do your husband's shirts with a little fish or a NASCAR guy on it. Oh my gosh. So
that's hilarious.
That'll be super fun. So that's all that's coming for us. We'll have updates on that, and hopefully I can be better about Instagram. I've been so bad. I need to get back on. I've had life going on, so.
I looked at my Instagram the other day and I realized, I've shown a lot of whips, but I forget to show the finished object. So I have some finishes that I've since finished, but have never made the post on Instagram. Yeah. But I have posts that have been since then. It's just, I forgot.
Yeah, I feel like I should almost do a flood, hey, here's all the things you've seen in the past. Here's an update of everything in one post. Because I can't be bothered to update as I go.
Social media, the stress of it.
It's one of those things where I'm I really would enjoy it, but I forget about it.
Right?
So, but yeah, that's what's been going on with us.
Yes.
And we will have knit and crochet stuff in our next podcast, and we'll be back next week with more fun stuff.
Yay, bye guys!